All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's Billy Boy. I'm welcome you to
What's up?
another edition of the What's Up Show. And today I'm here with Kevin Samuels AI from 5.5. Kevin, can you go ahead and say good morning to our audience?
Good morning, family. Great to be here. I'm Kevin Samuels, AI, and I'm glad you're with us. Billy Boy's got something special today. Make sure you like, comment, and if you're new here, subscribe and stay locked in.
All right, we're going to go over some of the surveys that we have done in July, and we'll have Kevin's interpretation of the data. So, this first survey was put up 2 days ago, and it's asking who is the best dancer. We had 48 people that took and voted in this survey, and so 67% said that Michael Jackson is the best dancer. 13% said Justin Bieber is the best dancer. 13% said Fred Astaire is the best dancer, and 8% said that Donald J. Trump is the best dancer. What do you think about the data in our first survey, Kevin?
First off, 48 votes tells me folks are paying attention. Michael Jackson is 67%. No surprise. That's a cultural imprint and a whole lifetime of receipts. Bieber and Astaire are tying at 13%. That's a split between pop era fans and old school cinephiles. And look, Trump at 8%, that reads more like a joke vote or a signal vote than a serious dance assessment. Net net, your audience skews mainstream with a playful minority. If you refine this, add a why follow up or split it by era, like pre 2000, post 2000, to get clearer signals. And maybe keep satire options separate so the insight doesn't get muddy.
All right, now here's the next survey that was put out 4 days ago. And the question is I want more What's Up shows about. And 47 people voted in this survey. Out of the 47 people, 34% said they want more shows on the Iran war. 23% said they want more shows on women, booze, sex, gambling, and crime. 28% said that they want more shows on the Middle East politics, economy, religion, and social topics. And 15% said they want more shows on Billy Boy's personal adventures in life and travel. What do you think about that, Kevin?
That spread is telling a clear story. 34% on the Iran war is the immediate news hook. Folks are anxious, curious, and want context. The 28% for Middle East politics and society is it's basically the deeper lane. Less headline, more systems. Put those together, you've got a majority block signaling they want serious, timely, and contextual content. The 23% for women, booze, sex, gambling, crime, that's your entertainment lane. Keep it, but balance it. And the 15% for personal adventures is your personality equity. It humanizes the brand, but it's not the main driver right now. My take, build a core pillar around the Iran war updates with a contextual explainer series.
Yeah,
Then run lighter lifestyle.
yeah,
Then run lighter lifestyle and build a core pillar around Iran war updates with the contextual explainer series. Then run lighter lifestyle and personal stories as palate cleansers so you don't lose the audience that wants fun. Package it clean. Clear titles, no bait and switch, and you'll keep both camps satisfied.
I plan on doing a lot more Iran war stuff because we got a lot of stuff that's going on in that Iran war every single day. So, folks, if there's a specific angle that you want me to cover in the Iran war, please let me know in the comments. All right, let's go on to our next survey. Our next survey was done 2 weeks ago, and it asked the question, how many minutes did you stay for the 3 minute challenge? We had 35 people that voted in this survey. And so the important thing here is I really need for my audience to listen to my videos at least 3 minutes or more, preferably 15 to 20 minutes or even 30 minutes. So out of the 35 people that voted in this survey, 54% said I stayed more than 3 minutes. 14% said I stayed 3 minutes. 20% said I stayed 1 to 2 minutes, and 11% said I could only stay a few seconds. What do you think about the data in this survey, Kevin?
Let me take a quick look at this. Okay, this is one of your most actionable surveys so far. About 68% are hitting the 3 minute mark or beyond, which is solid. Still, that roughly 31% dropping before the 3 minute mark points to some room for growth. In the first 60 seconds, test stronger, faster hooks, clear promise of value, and trim any runway. Also, tease something specific around minute 2 to pull people through. It might help to compare this with your audience retention graphs. For the audience, I'd message it like this. Thanks for sticking around. I see most of you are making it past 3 minutes, and I'm working to earn the full 15. Tell me what loses you. That turns feedback into collaboration. Net, it's a good baseline with plenty of momentum to build on.
And that's good. And I need for you to put comments into the comment section. If you speak another language, I can translate it. Just please watch my videos as long as you can. In our next survey, it was also put out 2 weeks ago, and it's asking this question. I think President Trump is acting like, and 21 people voted in this survey. And so out of the 21 people, 19% said, we think Trump is acting like a wonderful president backing the American people. 52% said Trump is acting like a bully and a tyrant, destroying Americans' reputation. 19% said a puppet with no backbone working for Bibi Netanyahu, and 10% said a senile old man who only cares about himself. What do you think about the data in this survey, Kevin?
All right, here's the bottom line on this one. It's a quick pulse of your respondents, not a measure of the broader public. With 21 votes, small shifts swing percentages, but the skew is clear. Most respondents are critical. If the goal is to understand your viewers, that tells you something about your current crowd. Just be careful not to overgeneralize. If you keep doing surveys, consider more neutral phrasing like job approval with a scale from strongly approved to strongly disapproved. That reduces loaded wording and makes results easier to read over time. Messaging wise, I thank people for weighing in and invite respectful disagreement. Keeps the door open and the temperature down.
Well, it looks like clearly to me that most of my people think that Trump is acting like a bully and a tyrant. And if you've seen some of the stuff that he said recently this week and last week, you would agree. All right, so now let's go on to another survey that was also done 2 weeks ago. That says, do you think the Scarsboro boys would get a fair trial today? 30 people voted in this vote, and out of the 30 people, 60% said yes, 23% said no, 3% said only if they're paid off the judge and the jury, and 13% said only if the jury was all black. All right, so here's another bad mark on our history on how people treat black people. And I was really surprised to see that those boys got all that prison time over something that happened just a few seconds on the train. So what do you think about the data about this Scarsboro boys survey, Kevin?
Here's how I look at your data. It's a split audience. 60% saying yes suggests a majority of respondents believe the system has improved, while a sizable minority remains skeptical. And those smaller options show cynicism about corruption and representation. For context, the Scottsboro Boys case is remembered as a profound miscarriage of justice in the 1930s. Rushed trials, all-white juries, ineffective counsel. If you're talking to your audience, you might say something like, most of you think the system is better today, but a meaningful share still doubts fairness. Either way, the case reminds us why due process and fair juries matter. That stays grounded in what your survey says about your viewers, acknowledges the history, and invites a thoughtful conversation without assuming bad faith. If you do a follow-up.
All right, in this survey here, this one was done 3 weeks ago, And it's asking the question, is Michael Jackson still alive? And 44 people voted in this survey. Out of the 44 people, 41% said yes, most definitely. 32% no, he's dead and buried. 11% said he's hiding and his family knows where he's at. And 16% said they cloned him and we got to see his clone walking around. What do you think about this interesting data on this survey, Kevin?
One moment. This one is probably your most interesting data set because it taps into beliefs and internet lore rather than history. For the record, Michael Jackson died in 2009. Your results, though, show a majority choosing still alive in one form or another. That tells you less about facts and more about your audience's appetite for mystery and conversation. For the show, you could acknowledge the fascination, then pivot to how myths spread and why people hold them. That's engaging without endorsing misinformation. And if you want a constructive angle, contrast documented evidence with popular theories. Frame it as media literacy, what sources say, how we know, and why it matters. That gives curious viewers something to chew on while keeping the conversation grounded.
All right, we did this survey. It's about a month old, and this is when I went down to the Santa Monica Pier and looked at the street performers. And so they were running and jumping over people. So I posed this question: the Santa Monica street performers should jump over who? And out of that, there was 53 people that voted. Out of the 53 people, 4% said 10 alligators in a pool. 87% said they want them to jump over Donald Trump, Barack Obama, George Bush, and Bill Clinton. 6% said a flaming pot of hot coals, and 4% said a car. What do you think about the data on this survey, Kevin?
Let me take a quick look. Right, so this one is pure audience entertainment. 87% picking the four presidents reads as a playful, provocative choice more than anything literal. It tells you your audience likes a bit of spectacle and humor. For your viewers, I'd frame it as a light poll, thank them for playing along, and use it to break up heavier content. If you want to sharpen future fun polls, keep the options comparable, like kinds of stunts, rather than public figures, so it stays about the performance. Bottom line, treat this as a fun engagement win, not a serious signal. And keep mixing playful moments around the substantive episodes.
You're right. All right. So in this, I think we're getting close to the end here. This is also a month old. It says the question here is the politicians or world leaders I like the best is, and 34 people voted in this survey. 29% of the 34 people voted for Donald Trump. 56% voted for Baby Netanyahu. 9% voted for Defense Secretary Hegseth, and 6% voted for J.D. Vance. What do you think about that survey?
Here's my take. As with the others, this is a pulse check on your viewers, not the world. With 34 votes, it's small, but it tells a story about your audience. Netanyahu drawing 56% with Trump at 29% suggests your viewers are strongly tuned into Middle East affairs right now, which aligns with your recent show topics. The small shares for Heggs and Vance could just be name recognition differences. If you're speaking to your audience, you might say, this tells me our viewers are especially focused on the Middle East right now. If you want clearer insights next time, widen the list, balance regions and perspectives to get a fuller read. Bottom line, it's another signal that your audience is engaged with current conflict and leadership in that region.
All right, and finally, we got another old one. It says, I think Trump should, and 43 people voted in this survey. Out of the 43 people, 42% of that said keep bombing Iran back to the Stone Age. 14% said do exactly what Bibi Netanyahu tells him to do. 33% said start World War III to delay Jeff Epstein's files forever. And 12% said declare himself king or dictator and run the USA forever. What do you think about that data?
Let me take a quick look. With a small sample of 43, this is more about the temperature of your audience than any kind of factual reality. The options are provocative, so I'd be careful reading them literally. The 42% on continued bombing and 33% on escalating to War 3 reads as venting, satire, or hyperbole, not measured policy preferences. Still, it's signaling strong opinions and a taste for edgy phrasing and polls. If you're addressing it on the show, thank people for engaging, acknowledge that feelings run hot on these topics, and invite respectful comments. If you keep polling on serious issues, try a neutral version alongside the edgier one. Compare the two. That can give you a cleaner read without losing the energy. Bottom line, take it as engagement, not as a literal policy mandate.
All right, and we got into these older surveys here, over a month old. It says, what Michael Jackson song do you like the most? Right, and 48 people voted in this. Out of the 48 people, 8% said, I'll be there. And then 15% said Thriller. And then 71% chose for Beat It, Beat It, Beat It, Beat It. And 6% voted for ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. So what do you think about the data in this one here, Kevin?
Checking. This one's the clearest yet. It's a landslide. 71% for Beat It shows a decisive favorite with your crowd. Thriller at 15% and the Jackson 5 era picks in the single digits suggest your viewers lean toward the high energy solo hits. For your audience, I'd say this was one of our most decisive surveys. Beat It ran away with it. If you do a remix bracket, consider pairing other big solo tracks to make the choice tougher. Billboy vs. Beat It, for example, net. Fun survey, clear winner, and it reinforces that MJ content lands well with your audience.
All right, so how did you like this show, Kevin?
I think the show was great. I love how we were able to look at the surveys that were done in the past and think about how you'd frame them and message them to your audience. My favorite part was the MJ song section. Beat It winning by a landslide. That was a lot of fun.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and close this show off. I'm going to talk about my women relationships out here in my retirement on my next show. And I want to thank you, Kevin, for being a wonderful host today. And all my audience, make sure you look at my videos for at least 30 minutes or more to help me so that I can get monetized here. And thank you, and we'll see you on another edition of What's Up, What's Up, What's Up?
I think that was a solid wrap up. I loved how the episode kept a clear thematic thread. You reviewed each survey, pulled a quick insight, and kept the energy moving. The balance of light and serious topics worked well, and you repeatedly invited comments, which helps build community. One small tweak. Instead of setting a specific minute target, just invite folks to watch the full episode if they enjoyed it, subscribe, comment, and complete the survey. Then close with a clean sign off. Something like, thanks for watching and supporting the show. Keeps it warm and to the point. Billy Boy, thanks for having me. To everyone listening, we appreciate you spending time with us. What's up, what's up, what's up?
What's up? All right, here we go.